All right. We're just gonna get set up here. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you can hear me okay. Let me just adjust something there. And we will get started in just a second here. My voice is doing a little bit better. I'm like at the end of started like a week or so ago. So just bear with me if I cough a couple times during this live stream. I'm trying not to, but it is what it is. I want to talk about a couple things. I probably most of you know about the scheduled protest for tomorrow, Saturday out, or what is going on here. But just if it is a shitty connection, just it's my Wi-Fi, so there's always something going on. But yeah, so tomorrow, if you haven't heard, there are scheduled protests for all around the U.S. in all the major cities, even some smaller cities. If you live in one of these areas, you definitely don't want to go to these protests. I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. And I'm just going to show you a map. If you haven't seen this, you can find this at nokings.org. So they're basically saying that Trump is a dictator. He's trying to act like a king, right? This is right here. What we're looking at is a map of scheduled protests for tomorrow. Okay, the 14th. This is pretty crazy. This is this is it's all across the U.S. I wouldn't be surprised if we see protests in other areas, other towns. If your town isn't listed here, don't count it out that you're not going to have something here. So I wanted to say a few things about this. I would not go for a couple reasons. One, even if you like want to share your voice in a protest, it's just a bad idea. You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know if you're going to get caught in crossfire with uh, tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets. You don't want some wacko protester to try to kick in your head. Definitely don't take your kids. I don't know why people take their kids there to protest. It makes no sense to me. It's and so what we've heard on social media is that some people have been offered between $200 a day and $1,200 a day to protest, and not just protest, but to cause problems, like to basically riot, to graffiti shit, break windows, stuff like that. So somebody's funding this thing, and some people did some research as to like who's funding it, and one of the funders looks to be the heiress of the Walmart families. I think Sam Walton was his name. So she apparently is a psychopath trying to fund at least one of the individuals trying to fund this stuff. So that the map, I mean, it's like all over the U.S. This is like it's pretty, it's pretty, yeah. It's all over, and tomorrow's gonna be really interesting. I might try to do a live stream. I'll switch over, and I'll show us a live stream like feed of the protests that are going on right now. But I just want to take a look around the Midwest here. I'm looking at the Twin Cities, St. Paul metro area. So obviously protests are in the metro areas, but look at all these planned protests in smaller towns in Minnesota. For example, Wilmer, New Ulm, Mankato, these are not big towns. Menominee, I think Menominee is like 15,000 people with college students. They're a college town. So, I mean, it's all over the place. So if you're traveling, just be aware that some roads might be shut down, all that kind of stuff. Additionally, because if you haven't heard, I would imagine you've all heard, but Israel hit Iran, some of their nuclear sites, took out a bunch of top nuclear scientists and stuff, and some big wigs up in the chain. If there is some concern, I think it's well founded that there could be some sleeper cells in the U.S. that potentially want to do us some harm. And what better day? I'm just kind of thinking out of the box here. Like, what better day to do this than like tomorrow in the midst of anonymous crowds that are big? Like, that's the last place I would want to be. If Islamic freaks want to take people out, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm gonna switch over to a clip from Asmongold. He's got a great channel. A lot of you guys probably know who I'm talking about here, but let's play something. Asmongold does not agree that there's a big risk from sleeper cells, but I disagree with him. I think there is.
Threat. This is what people are worried about. Is that they're concerned that Iran could have like sleeper cells and terrorists in the US that are going to do attacks now. And I feel like the probability of that happening is very, very, very low, but it's possible that it would happen.
So I don't.
Agent and Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam.
I don't think it's a low probability. We've had open borders under Biden for like 4 years. So and I've heard stories. You've probably seen this too on the news, different news broadcasts, that that passports and identifying documents have been found along the border that indicate people from Asia, yeah, and the Middle East have gotten across the border over the past 4 years. Who knows how many people are here? We also know that like countries like China own a ton of farmland in nearby vicinity to U.S. Military bases. That's not good. I don't know why we're selling it to them. It's not good. Shiloh, hi, good to see you. She says, yes, our local college town, Bowling Green, Ohio is having one. Kind of funny. Our weather sucks. Yeah, up in the Midwest too, it's been chilly. It was like 55 today and rainy. But sunny, warm weather brings out the freaks the most. But nothing will hold them back, even if it's a dreary 50-some degree day. They will be out there. So yeah, so this is I'm not going to play this whole clip, but this guy, I think he's a retired Navy SEAL. He's saying that there's a risk. I agree too. Like if you look at and this video that Asmongold put out, people are saying like, hey, there is a risk. It's not minimal, just because of the fact that we've had open borders for 4 years. We haven't, it's been intentional. The Democrats under Biden's regime wanted to keep the borders open, probably primarily to boost the voter rolls, right? So that Biden or whoever, Kamala, could get elected. Secondarily, probably they have this probably backwards thinking thing where they want to help destroy America, which is already in the process of being destroyed. But, it's not what it once used to be. I feel like I was born in the wrong at the wrong time. I feel like I should have been born like 30 years prior to my birthday, because I feel like in many ways it would have been a better world. But anyway, so this is like, so Asmongold, he's been coming up with a couple things. He comes up with a lot of content. But yeah, let's just take a look at some of the stuff that Iran was retaliating against Israel. Israel, no doubt, is going to hit them back again. I expect the next few days probably to be a real fireworks show, probably in the Middle East. We'll see.
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. Overnight, Israel launching sweeping strikes against Iran, targeting its nuclear facilities, military strikes, sites, and top commanders.
Several Iranian military leaders and nuclear scientists believed to be dead, and right now Israel is beginning to intercept drones sent from Iran in retaliation. But Israel says this is just the beginning of their operation.
Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight,
I mean, you can't blame them that much for that, can
Israel
you?
backs those words with action.
Let's be honest.
You are watching a special 4 a.m. edition of Fox.
I just want to make a note, kind of funny. You are watching a video of me watching a video of Asmongold watching a video. The Matrix is real for sure. But it is, we're going to see this stuff pop off. If you were watching crypto, I got to check where crypto's at right now. I was watching it last night, just after the news popped that Israel hit Iran, and all my altcoins were down like in very short order, like 10 to 15%. And I haven't looked where they are at right now. Basically any asset that you're invested in is probably going to drop a little bit. Because obviously, like conflict like this, whether it's protests in the U.S. or conflict in the Middle East, which is just never ending, it feels like, it always causes uncertainty. And although some assets like precious metals do fairly well over long term in periods of economic uncertainty, in the short term, everything seems to sell off, and that's at least so you're going to see a dip in everything. So we're still down from where we were 36 hours ago, but at least in most of my altcoins. But they took a pretty good dump. I mean, it's not like when COVID came along and we had like a tremendous drop in a lot of things. I think Bitcoin, I feel like it dropped significantly, like down to $3,500 or something when the news hit. or when CNN, Fox started talking about it in a big way. I remember where it was when I heard them talking about it, and it was like, yeah, that was the day I should have bought, the dip, but I didn't. I'm sure a lot of people wish they did, but so if you're looking at buying crypto, like native crypto, I mean, it's open 24/7, so you can from an exchange, and you can take advantage of a dip. So if you're looking at topping off uh, your existing crypto stuff, or getting into it for the first time. Obviously, grayscale and stocks and stuff are only tradable during the trading day, so we are not going to see where things are at until Monday. But it'll be interesting to see what happens over the weekend. Tomorrow is the big day. It's the big kahuna, and that's I don't know if I'll do a live stream or not. I mean, all I can do, is just tune in to like what's happening on the ground. So this is like we're looking at here, like a feed of just different places. This is actually from this link. This is actually from woke.net. So this is like the nut jobs with their legion of streamers. They just they bring all the videos together, which is great. Actually, it's a huge service to everybody, no matter what your point of view is on a protest. So I got to give them kudos for that. But the anti-ICE stuff started out in LA. And I was like, I'm surprised they haven't broken out in Minneapolis yet, because Minneapolis was a hotbed in 2020 with George Floyd. But it's gonna come. Like it's scheduled to Minneapolis and St. Paul and a whole bunch of other places in Minnesota tomorrow, and basically every other state. So I mean, I didn't do a thorough investigation of the map, but it's pretty much in every state. I mean, this is, and again, it's like a lot of dinky towns. I mean, yeah, I can see, we could all expect that big cities like Chicago, New York, LA, San Francisco, Dallas, places like that we're going to see protests. But like, what? This is a lot of protests. Let me just like look out in the middle, like Nebraska. Let me just, because Nebraska is just like, okay, I don't know how big these towns are, right? I don't know what the protest is going to look like. I don't know what the size of these things are, but I cannot imagine that these are huge metropolises in Nebraska. They're probably fairly small towns. The problem is, like, it depends on what the protesters actually want to do. I mean, in the Twin Cities, for example, like in California, they shut down like the interstate, one of the interstates, for a while, right? And they were on social media saying that they were going to shut down the interstate, the big interstate going through the Twin Cities, which is I-94. They were going to shut that down tomorrow. And then I saw something where it looks like the Minnesota DMV proactively is shutting down I-94, at least a stretch of it, starting tonight, Friday night, all the way through Monday morning, because they probably know that they can't stop this, and they do not want, semis running over, morons who are standing on the freeway. So it looks like, I think the DMV in Minnesota is going to intentionally shut it down. So, but if you've got like a cross country trip, like say you're a semi driver, Jesus, if even just a couple morons, or morons in a couple places, decide to throw things over the overpass, one of these smaller towns like Laramie, Cheyenne, North Platte. I mean, I've driven through these places on trips out west. I don't remember how big they are. Cheyenne's obviously bigger than, I believe, North Platte for sure. But I mean, what is this town over here? I can't even see it. Og something. But it's a pinch point. Like if you're driving along the freeway, you don't want somebody throwing something over the overpass. I mean, if you're traveling at 65, 70 miles an hour or more, something hits your windshield, man, that can kill you. That can kill you. So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be really interesting. We have not seen, at least in my lifetime, protests this widespread. We had protests that were pretty massive in 2020, and that was pretty crazy. I'm sure you guys like tuned in some of the live streams that were going on with the protests. but nothing like this. This is definitely, there is no way that this shit is organic. That's not fucking organic. There's no way. This is like, this is where, you know, you got to look at it and it's like, who are the psychopaths out there with deep pockets that are funding this shit? I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if I'm a billionaire or a multi-billionaire, I don't think it, I mean, I would have to have like serious hatred for the United States of America, serious hatred for freedom, for capitalism, for what we stand for, to fund basically people who are, you know, intent on its destruction. And this is disturbing. Like, if I had that kind of money, I'd be trying to figure out like, how the hell do I make the world a better place, right? But this is like, as you guys get wealthier with Grayscale and other investments that you're in, you know, they say that money doesn't change you. It just, it makes you more of who you are. It's an amplifier, right? So if you're a good person beforehand, you have good money habits before you get a lot of money, you'll have good money habits and you'll be a good person after, you know? You just have more at your disposal, more options. But if you don't like the US, if you're a bad apple, bad seed, and you just want to cause chaos, and then you get money, well, now you have power and influence because money can buy power and influence. Like if people truly are being offered between $200 a day and $1,200 a day to cause mayhem at these sites, I mean, I don't know what the total bill for that would be, like how many people are having to be paid, but yeah, that's pretty expensive. And it's not like that's gonna, I mean, what are they trying to do? So this heiress to the Walton family, like Walmart, I heard that Walmart like execs were kind of freaking out because they know that Walmart kind of has its a target now on its name because people know that she is one of the people that's funding it. And she's associated with Walmart. Not she doesn't have anything to do with it right now. I mean, she married, I think she married Sam Walton. He died. She inherited all his wealth. I don't think she's involved in Walmart at all, but still leaves a black eye to Walmart, right? And Walmart doesn't want that. So they were kind of trying to scramble and distance themselves from her. So it's I don't know, but there have to be multiple organizations to hey, Sun Scorpio, they will be over here in Hudson, Wisconsin and Stillwater, Minnesota. You are very close to where I am. I drive through Hudson almost every single day. So you welcome, Sun Scorpio. You are probably a Wisconsinite or just across the border. I used to go through Stillwater a lot. I don't a whole lot anymore, but yeah, like the Hudson is not a big city. Let me just look up the population of Hudson and the population of Stillwater. Like Stillwater, Wisconsin population. Okay. 19,000 people, right? So we have a protest for Stillwater, Wisconsin, 19,000 people. That's not a metropolis, right? 19,000 people. And it doesn't take a whole lot of people to shut down a freeway or a highway or a major intersection. That's all you got to do. Like in the small towns, a lot of times, like the highways, like you guys know, if you've been through small towns, you live in smaller areas. I mean, like a lot of times the highway from one place to another, you go right through Main Street, right? So all you got to do is like fuck up a couple blocks and you're good. I can't believe, look, Hudson is even, I would have figured Hudson would be bigger than Stillwater. Hudson is 15,000 people. All right. Another one that I think Menominee, Wisconsin. Yeah. So I thought they were like around 15,000. So 16,000, pretty close. Like these are not big towns. And in a lot of these smaller towns, they might just be flag wearing people and, you know, chanting and stuff. I can't imagine like it, especially in the Midwest, probably, you know, unless you're in California, like a super liberal state, that a lot of police departments, a lot of sheriffs in rural areas, smaller towns are going to put up with a lot of bullshit. Like if someone is blocking the intersection between two highways that are crossing through town, they're going to get their ass towed and probably, you know, thrown in jail. That's probably what's going to happen. I mean, versus if you're in California, They won't do anything because Newsom doesn't care. I feel like Newsom is a part of a group of people, honestly, that is just intent on uh, destroying America, the America that we had, and they're like really happy about it. It's messed up. I don't know. I don't know what happened to them when they were growing up. Why they wanted to join the evil clan. I don't know. Honestly, it feels weird. Um, Noel says paid for by an NGO. Ex-data Republican is investigating. I saw something about that too. Somebody at work sent me something um, that, and I think he was referencing like that exactly, like the investigation into something. Let me see. Okay, so this was Data Republican. Let's just go over to X. I'm not on X. X.com Data Republican. Let's just see. No, I don't want to see. I don't want to sign in here. X.com Data Republican. So this is what somebody, I don't know who this person is. Somebody maybe associated with Elon and the Doge team, perhaps. But they were looking at looking into like the funding, like who's behind this shit. Because even back, like if you had your eyes open back in 2020 when the shit was going on, it was pretty obvious that this stuff was funded, right? It was funded by deep pockets, political parties, political activists, NGOs that just wanted to cause chaos. So, I mean, I'm guessing, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I like the people who dig through data. So it's like, here we have, like, and this pisses me off. Okay. So, like, if this is the way that money is flowing to fund these protests, we have, like, if this is in fact the case, we've got money coming from the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, and the Nature Conservancy that moved to the Windward Fund that now move into BVM, which is one of the potential funders. So if you're, this is why, like, you got to be really careful. Like, if you're going to donate someplace, these nonprofits are not always exactly what you think they are. And it's just, you got to be really careful. So the Nature Conservancy, you would think that if you donate money to them, it's going to like animals and shit, right? To protect the environment, animals, help them out, and the people that are helping them out, right? That it's not going to this stuff. The Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles doesn't surprise me. The Tide Center, they're like a bad group. I heard about them, I think back in 2020. Like I think Glenn Beck has done exposés on a number of groups, including the Tides Centers, Tides Foundation. Okay, so T Pro says she lives an hour away from me here in Baja California, in a town Triunfo. Christy Walton. Okay, so I don't know if is Christy the one that's actually doing? Is she the one on X? Is she Data Republican? If so, like, I give major kudos to the people that spend their time doing this, because if without these people, we wouldn't know, and it would just sound like, even if you had suspicions that bad actors were funding this stuff, well, all it sounds like to anybody else you try to tell to is that, like, it's conspiracy theory. Everybody just bundles anything that they don't hear from the mainstream news, and they put it in the conspiracy theory bucket. So, I mean, yeah, it's interesting to see. Hopefully, like, I think I saw something where George Soros, man, fucking evil guy, George Soros is going to have to make an appearance before Congress to discuss, like, funding of this shit. So somebody must have hauled his butt, or is preparing to haul his butt in front of Congress. If he does actually show up, I don't know that he'll answer any questions. He does look like Darth Vader, or Darth Vader's dad. Excuse me. So, like I said, I'm almost over this chest cold. Still have a little bit. So, hey Juan, good to see you. Noel says no data Republican. I think she is deaf and has the data talent. We fund a lot of these protests, and we fund George Soros. This is so. Noel says yes. She's with Elon. She's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I really have major kudos for these people because not only are they doing the hard work, but Jesus, like honestly, whistleblowers in today's society, you got a really big red X pointed at your back. First of all, you get doxxed on social media by the protesters that don't like you, don't like the fact that you're exposing where their funding is coming from. And then you've got like the bigger conspiracy stuff. Like how many whistleblowers did we lose? There were whistleblowers for like Boeing, right? And they just like got disappeared. Magically, these people like have just weird accidents or suicide or something. But when you're somebody that's exposing this, you're probably pissing off some very powerful, very wealthy people with a lot of connections. And yeah, Noel says they swatted her and her family. See, that's the kind of shit you deal with. I mean, okay, so if you don't know what that is, imagine this. Somebody doesn't like you for whatever reason, okay? And the good people of the world don't do this. It's the assholes, like major assholes. So if somebody doesn't like you, they call into 911 and say there's like a fucking bomb threat or something major, so major that the SWAT team is sent. And the SWAT team doesn't knock on your door and ask if you're okay. They bust down your fucking door, all right? They ask questions later. It's terrifying for a family. I saw an interview of one individual, I think it was the husband of a family that got swatted. And it's just like, I can't imagine that shit. I just can't imagine it. And that's the kind of stuff these psychos pull. And they think it's okay to do that. I don't see rational people doing this kind of stuff because we know it's bad. And we also have this like morality, right? Or ethics, at least, in terms of like, we know it's bad. We wouldn't want it to happen to us. Therefore, we won't do it to other people. But some people just don't give a shit. So, so you can get doxxed and you can get swatted. And a lot of times, like, they'll complain to like, they'll put pressure on your employer if they can to get you to lose your job. They want to destroy your life. If you are a whistleblower, if you are a truth seeker and a truth teller, that's just the way it is in life. I don't know. In a lot of things, it just kind of sucks, but that's it. I mean, so this stuff, and the stuff we've seen, to date, yeah, it's been newsworthy, and it's been interesting to watch and disturbing. It was like 2 weeks ago or so. It was just weird timing. 2 weeks ago or so, I was thinking, I'm like, I kind of miss 2020 because, for a lot of reasons, it was traumatic for all of us, right? My channel really took off when I started talking about COVID and all the baloney going on with it. I used to do a couple live streams. I'd get close to 1,000 people that would join. And one of the other streamers that I really followed, his name is Andy. He had a channel called Endology that I think he shut down, but he has another channel right now called Sigma Prepper, where he's on still. Like he'd get over more than me. He'd get over 1,000 people. He'd be talking about COVID and stuff, and so you don't have that many people tune in. Now it's interesting to see all these people like that are doing streaming and talking. They're getting a ton of viewers, and rightfully so. Like they're covering this stuff and they're doing a really good job. It's crazy though. This is like bigger than 2020, and what it's going to be like tomorrow, I think it's going to be off the chart. It's going to be off the chart tomorrow. Like I said, like if you live in one of these cities, like especially like a big metro area, definitely do not go. I heard that that some of the wackos are planning on dressing up in Trump and MAGA gear in an effort, and then going to cause chaos in an effort to basically frame Republicans, conservatives, right? And the left leaning media like CNBC, shit like that, they will rush to blame it on Trump supporters. Surely they will. They'll say is there were peaceful protests happening. They'll show pictures of people chanting around a flag, and then they'll say, and then Trump supporters did this, and they'll show like a Molotov cocktail with somebody in a MAGA hat or something. But I don't trust it. I don't think that's I do not think that conservatives or Trump supporters would do that kind of shit, by and large, So, but I wouldn't be surprised. Also, I think there's definitely a risk, and it could be tomorrow because tomorrow's a big day of sleeper cell bullshit. That's like the last place I'd want to be is in a large crowd of anonymous people tomorrow. It just seems like a really bad idea with the shit going on between Israel and Iran. And the fact that we have had open borders for 4 years under Biden, let in God knows how many people from whoever or wherever, it's just a bad idea. So definitely don't do that. I am very thankful when I see stuff like this that I do not live in the big city. Like this stuff, I had thought about this stuff like as far back as 20 years, and I was like, I would like to not live in the big city because at the time I did. And I was just like, okay, I need to find a place where I feel like I'm not in the middle of a war zone, a potential war zone. Sun Scorpio says, that's when I started following you when you started up and walked around your Wisconsin property talking about C-19. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been, think about it, Sun Scorpio. That's, it's crazy. So that's, a little over 5 years ago, because I started, my channel actually has gone through a couple pivots. I started the channel, I think in October of 2019. I wanted to do like inspirational shit and motivational stuff like that. Put out a couple of videos of the oldest stuff on my channel. And then I started seeing what was happening with COVID right towards the end of December. I think I saw some of the stuff coming out on social media. And I think I started talking about it in January of 2020. And that's when I started to get a lot of followers. Because prior to that, I only had like 20 subscribers. And over the course of like the next year, I think the channel went up to like 15,000 subscribers. I don't think most of those, most of those people are still subscribed. They just don't see my stuff because they're not interested in what I usually talk about, investing, but that's where I got most of them. And so it was crazy. There was so much stuff going on. And one of the things I loved about the COVID era, to be honest, where there were a lot of people, like everyday people, it feels like just trying to look in and to find the source of truth. There was so much shit that we were all having thrown at us with COVID, like the origin story, where it came from, how it could spread. There were all these questions about the vaccines, were they safe? Was there a nefarious, something behind it? What are the motivations? All the fucking distancing rules, the bullshit, the lockdowns with businesses. It was, it was a trying time for not just the US, the whole world. And in the US, we had a lot better than other places, like some places like Australia. Yeah, and I think New Zealand too. Like, I feel like those two countries, they had it pretty bad. Like that, they had some of the worst, like from country level. I feel like from memory, they had some of the worst stuff going on for them. And in certain areas, like a lot of areas, especially like Democratic controlled strongholds, like Illinois, California, Minnesota, places like that, but especially California, like they're pretty tough on individuals and businesses. It caused a lot of problems. Florida was one of the places where there really weren't the crazy restrictions, and that's actually one of the reasons why. I mean, the last crypto bull run started while all that shit was going on, right, in 2020. And after that, and when I cashed out in like the spring or early summer, I think it was spring of 2021 of Grayscale, I was like, I think we should consider moving to Florida, or at least getting a place in Florida. And that's when we went looking at Florida places. That's why I bought that place down there, you know, because I was like, they have the most sane policies, and I'm like, if this shit ever happens again, I want to be in Florida. And I mean, it was like this one guy, this one sheriff. This is like, I gotta find this. Jesse on fire. Jesse on fire. So this is, he and his wife just did a video. I just watched it before this one. He talked about this. This is covered. No idea. Okay, did he post this someplace else? Florida. Let me just search for this. Florida sheriff. Here we go.
If you let it turn violent, whoo, you do not want to do that in Brevard County. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. If you let it turn violent.
It's so great. I love, like, Florida just has some great law enforcement officers. What was the there was like one or two that was it. No, there's one in Texas and one in Florida. Arpaio, I think, was from Texas. I forget who it was in Florida, but they had some great videos and stuff that came out during COVID, and just like, I like the no bullshit, you know. And this guy actually said that this clip didn't catch it here, but he's like, you know, if you in this county, if you want to block a road, an interstate, an intersection, you should get prepared to get run over, right? And this is what I said the other day. If you didn't see the Jeep video I made, my ode to my Jeep. You know, if I find myself, you know, in my Jeep or any vehicle surrounded by, you know, angry protesters that look like they're going to try to pull me out of the vehicle and beat my ass like Rodney King style, or not, it wasn't Rodney King. Who did they pull out of the bus? This is like in 1992 in LA. Anyway, whoever they pulled that guy out of the, I gotta look that up actually. We should see if that's there. 1992 riot. Man pulled of, I think it was 1992 truck. Like, you never let anybody pull you out of your truck. Okay. Reginald Denny echoes the pal. Let's see. This is old school. Maybe inappropriate. You guys,
Reginald Denny was the truck driver. We watched him by the millions. Here is the tape of what happened there. Now you're going to see people go up to the cab of this truck, I think, and pull him out. Let's see how the tape goes.
This is where it all started, and you heard Mark Ridley Thomas suggest that if the LAPD had come in and dealt with this in a big hurry, maybe all of this would have been avoided. And of course, the other side to that is that they were there, they knew they were outnumbered, they had to pull back for their own safety and by policy, and that's what happened. So you've got two sides to what we're seeing here. This is the beginning of it. There's the body.
There is Reginald Denny. He is the man who was pulled out of his truck.
Yeah, so that's like an old school, like 92, right? If you're surrounded by people, definitely don't fucking let them pull you out of a vehicle ever. You need to run their asses over, you know, you do. And just deal with any legal consequences for that. Like, if you live in a blue state, they're going to probably try to charge you with a vehicular homicide or something, or hurting someone's feelings because some retard felt like they should be able to attack you and have you not drive over their asses. But I mean, look at that. Look at what happened to this guy, Reginald, right? Like, he let them pull him out of the truck and he's dead. So I would rather face a jury. having to decide my fate than just end up dead, you know? So don't ever let that happen, which is another reason why do not go into areas where there are protests, because you don't know what's going to happen. JP said they threw a brick at his head. Yeah, so I mean, and then it's like I saw, if you guys saw this, like the the Korean rooftop shooter. So back in '92, like the Koreans, they had, I don't know if it was called Koreatown or some area in Los Angeles. They got on top of their businesses, and they would take shots and at looters, right? Oh, JP says he didn't die, but he got pretty badly here. I'm glad to hear that. But he could have definitely died. They don't give a shit. Like if they throw a brick at your head, they're intending to kill you. I'm glad. I thought he died. But yeah, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. Noel says, yeah, I'll be looking at Florida. I'm in a demonic Washington, California, or Washington. Yeah, going down. Yeah, it's so those places are like, I felt so bad for the people, especially the people of New York City during COVID. The shit that was going down there, right? With Cuomo at the helm. Holy shit. I felt really bad because, like, in New York, too, everybody's kind of trapped. A lot of people, everything is so expensive. They're trapped in these small ass apartments and stuff. And to be locked inside, basically, for an extended period of time, and just be frightened, put in a state of fear, it's not fun. Like, I would have wanted to get the hell out of New York as soon as possible. At least California, yeah, even though they were like nuts, it was at least nicer weather. Up in New York, not so nice, still, when things were going on. But it's something, too, to think about. Like, it depends on where you guys live, too. But maybe some of you, like, after Grayscale, depending on how well you do, maybe you'll find that you look for, like, a cabin. Like, out of the metro area, if you live in a metro area, that you make it almost like as a backup residence, place to go to get away, but it can also act as a backup when shit hits a fan in a bigger city. You can leave, because I mean, honestly, living in the city has a lot of benefits. It does. Like, I miss a lot of things. I don't have DoorDash where I am, and DoorDash is really convenient, right? Thankfully, I can still use like Shipt or Instacart to get groceries delivered. That's super convenient. I love it out here. I'm very fortunate that I'm just within the radius of delivery. But there are a lot of really nice things about being in a city. But still, it's the last place that I would want to be when things go wrong. Okay? So, I mean, the channel, I've switched to basically talking about investing, for the most part, except the last couple of videos, because I'm getting bored. Grayscale isn't doing anything yet. I don't know when it's going to pop off. So I'm just talking about stuff that's affecting the world, affecting us, right? Hey, retire on dividends, how you doing? But it's something, broadly speaking, what does it mean to invest, right? We a lot of times we just think it's financial investment. What is our portfolio looking like? At financial independence, right? But it's a lot more than that. I mean, like what you have to look at. I mean, financial wealth contributes to your quality of life, right? In a lot of ways, right? If you make enough money, you can retire, right? You can get out of debt. You can maybe buy the house of your dreams, or buy whatever, go on vacation, do things that you want. But the other types of investments I come from, the way I started out before I really had much money was I came from a preparedness mindset. Okay, so I've been a prepper, right? Hardcore prepper. I haven't been for the past couple of years, but it's because I've already accumulated the stuff that I think I'm gonna need, right? But I started out that way because right before I got any money, I was scraping by. Like 2008, 2009, man, it wasn't until 2010 when I started to make some money. I was really scraping by. Hardly had anything, and but it was right on the heels of the financial crash, right? So I didn't trust the system. I was like, "Fuck the system, man! I don't trust Wall Street." Right. And also, it's just like, I think it's probably stuff that my dad taught me, over the course of many years, that I just had this distrust of government. And then I saw things like September 11th, 2001. I had that still in my mind where I was like, I don't trust the government. And so I got in this preparedness mindset. And it's like, so it falls in line of the preparedness mindset to have a backup plan. And a part of a backup plan is like a place you can go to that's outside of a big metro area. Because a lot of people have to work in a metro area because that's where the jobs are. Or if you're going to start a business, it's sometimes a lot easier to do it in a bigger town. Not always, but I mean, a lot of people work in the big cities for a lot of reasons, right? More jobs, better pay, more services, more stuff. But to me, it's like always like, it's good to have a backup plan. So as soon as I started to get some money in 2011, it was like a year after I started to make some money. I'm like, I need to get out of the cities. Okay. So I bought some raw land, just raw land, nothing on it. The place where I'm live streaming from right now, I'm sitting on acres of woods and open area that I made into an orchard and stuff. But it used to just be like abandoned hay fields, right? There's nothing. And so I bought just the land. And then, the next year I just built the garage on it. And then I made the garage off grid. So I had solar panels installed on it. Because I'm like, if shit hits a fan, I at least have a place to go to that I have a well and I've got solar power as a backup, right? And I just started to build from there. And then I ended up building, like a couple years later, I built the house, right? And now it's my primary residence. But it gives me peace of mind. My commute is a pain in the ass. Retirement Dividends does like live streams every once in a while when he's going to work. I have a lot of time to think. My round trip commute each day that I go in the office is just over 3 hours. That's my commute. That's on a good day when we don't have like winter snow and shit. So I have a lot of time to think about stuff, and it's worth it though. It's a pain in the ass to drive that far, but I got to tell you, like, I can come out here, I can shoot my guns, I can shoot fireworks, I can play music as loud as I want, I can hunt on my land, which I'm not a hunter, but I could if I wanted to. I planted an orchard, I can let the dog run free. I have deer come through all the time. I can't get that in cities, right? If I shot off fireworks, like if I were across the border in Minnesota, they'd probably arrest my ass because they don't allow fun fireworks in Minnesota. They do in Wisconsin. But you get more freedom. You get more freedom like when you're out in the middle of nowhere. Like you get more freedom in a small town than you would compared to a big town, and you get a lot more freedom when you're out in the sticks compared to everywhere else. More pain in the ass, longer commute, tougher to find services. Anybody from a painter to a carpenter to an electrician, it's just more expensive. It's kind of a pain. Well, I shouldn't say more expensive, because honestly, the services in the cities are a lot more expensive sometimes than what's out here. Noel says, was your house already on it? Nope. No, it was just raw land. Like, so when I bought this place, it was just land. It was like 3 abandoned hay fields and a bunch of woods, mostly wooded. And the bunch of old machinery and vehicles was left abandoned. I had to hire like an excavator, somebody to come and get all that shit out of here. I had them put in a road because there was no road. And I figured it was in three different fields. And I'm like, I want the house eventually, but at least initially the garage to be on the 3rd field. So I have a long driveway. My driveway is like almost a quarter of a mile long, I think. So, which is nice. So I built it. It was fun to build, fun to design. Kind of a pain. I don't know that I'd want to build another house again just because of all the stuff you have to do. But yeah. Assets and income says a cabin in the woods or another country altogether. So that's an option. So one of the things that there's a guy, a channel, I can't remember his name, Nomad Capitalist, just talking about other capitalists. I can't remember this guy's name, but this channel.
This is an 18th century.
Yeah, so this guy, He talks about basically if you become wealthy or you plan on becoming wealthy, like one of the things you might want to consider is getting a second passport to another country that is hopefully more favorable to you in terms of a lot of things like privacy or taxation or whatever. So it's something to think about. They have, like in the Caribbean, if you like warm weather, they have citizenship by investment programs. So, forget what citizenship. Okay, what countries do we have? So for like 200 grand, Golden Visas, this is a company that helps you get these things, and a bunch citizenship by investment country, Caribbean. Let's just do Caribbean countries. So Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia are some of them. So, I mean, you know, you could have a place. You don't even need to actually become a citizen. I don't think in some countries, like some of these smaller places, if we're talking about the Caribbean, you can go anywhere. But I think you can still own a place, big or small, in another country. Just like, you know, people from other countries buy stuff. They buy land, condos, townhomes, etc. in the U.S. A lot of times you can do that. Then one step further is to get a passport, a secondary passport, if you want. Out in the country is a good option. I always figure, I'm like, if shit hits a fan, I don't know that I want to be in any other country other than the U.S. because we're, you know, if you look at the countries, a lot of the other countries are not better than the U.S. in many ways. And a lot of them are third world countries. And if shit is hitting the fan, I don't know that I want to be in a third world country for a lot of different reasons. Security, just the accessibility of like medical services, food, all that kind of stuff. Security of banking, all that kind of, yeah, it's just a lot. I'd rather be in the U.S. This is where I was born. I'm going to die here, God willing. Yeah, that's kind of, so I'd rather just like find a place. And you don't need much at all. You can buy like a 1 acre lot somewhere, like a 1 acre field that's for sale. You know, 45 to 60 minutes outside of a metro area. And you're going to be in a lot better position if things ever go south from a societal standpoint. You're much better off doing that. The hardcore prepper stuff out there will probably, from what I remember, it will advise you to find a place that's, I think it was at least 60 or 80 miles from a metro area. Just and the thinking behind that is if society really collapses, people will start to flee the metro areas on foot or bike or whatever. You don't want to be even close. You got to be a ways away. But that's apocalypse type shit that I don't know that we'll ever see. Hopefully we won't. But these kind of things, like we're living in dangerous times, honestly, and it's I think it's wise. Like, I'm a tech CEO, but I have so much shit here that does not rely on tech. Okay, I have lots of guns, lots of bullets, lots of beans and band-aids, right? It's the cornerstones of the prepper movement, and shit to purify water and manual pumps and all that shit. I'm a multi-millionaire who acts like, somebody made the comment, one of my friends were like, don't go Gene Hackman on me. I think it was, what was it, Enemy of the State, that was the movie that he was in. You know, but it's like, for a long time, I've kind of held that view. I think my grandfather held that view too. He was, didn't trust the government, and he took a few steps, even back in the early 80s, to kind of secure things better for himself. Then my dad learned about that stuff from the podcast, or not the radio stations he was listening to, and the books he read and all that kind of stuff, and was kind of preparedness minded. And then I just took it a step further. And I don't know, I'll pass on what I know to my son. Whether my son will care or not, I don't know, but I'll try to teach him like the basics. Like in my vehicle, I always have shit in case things go bad. I mean, I have stuff in my vehicle in case we have a fucking EMP and my vehicle, along with everybody else's, gets disabled on the freeway. I hopefully have what it takes to walk wherever I need to go and have shelter and food and fire and water, right? And I always have that. I carry that with me, in my vehicle. And it's just the way I am. I'm old school. Like I have maps, printed maps that I carry in my vehicle in case the cell phones get hit with an EMP, GPS goes down. A lot of people now, like the younger generations, wouldn't know how to read a map. But I know that if I need to walk my ass from wherever I might be across the county or across a couple counties, it's going to take me a while, and I better know where I'm going, So that's a different type of investment. It's like investing in your and your family's safety and security. There is like, I sleep a lot better knowing that I've done that stuff for myself and my family, but that's kind of where I started. Like if you think in terms of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's like at the bottom of the list, it's like, what do you need for survival to get by day? And at the very top of the list is stuff that is like creative, like being an artist, a musician, right? But at the bottom, the shit that we all need to take care of is how do we feed ourselves? How do we survive to the next day? And so that's what I started doing, like before I got money, And as I got money initially, then I just had more money to put into those things. But I remember I was a millionaire. I was filling 5-gallon buckets with Mylar bags and putting away beans and rice with oxygen absorbers and sealing that shit tight for the long term. And that is what I considered valuable. Like it doesn't matter how much I have in the bank, in my brokerage accounts ever. If I become a multi-billionaire in my lifetime, I will always have that stuff that people would view me as a conspiracy kook somewhere on premise, on property, of the rice, the beans, the MREs, the bullets, the beans, the Band-Aids. I'll have that shit hidden away, out of sight, because I know the society is fragile. And we are faced with today, I haven't talked really about prepping on this channel since COVID times, where I was telling people like things that they might want to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, it makes you sleep better. Like if you get to the position where you get rid of the shit that's bothering you right now, pay off your debt, get out of debt slavery, build up savings, like the baby step shit that Dave Ramsey, that people talk about, and then you can start to because you can put some money into this. I think everybody should have a little bit of extra food, emergency food, an emergency radio at the very minimum, right? And there's a lot more that I think a lot of people should do, but it makes you sleep better, and it's stuff that you buy that you hope you never use. It's just like you buy car insurance and home insurance and life insurance. You know what I mean? You buy it and you hope you don't need it, but it's there. Yeah. So, and along with that, you gotta get the stuff, the knowledge too. Cause I'm like, I'm a tech guy. What if the internet doesn't exist anymore? And so you gotta look at like books or magazines or whatever, printed material, that kind of stuff. Anyway, Sun Scorpius is excellent movie. I think it was Enemy of the State. Let me just bring up, let's watch the trailer together. It's Friday night, let's do that. And then we'll go over to Agenda Free TV, and this guy, I forget his name. I started watching him during COVID. He did a really good job of covering stuff. I'm just gonna open him on a separate tab, so we'll come back to him. Time that referring like go Gene Hackman on me. 1998.
satellite imagery coming through.
Roger that. Patch visual my location. Subject entering lingerie storage.
Hi.
Hey, hi.
So you want some lingerie for your wife?
Yes. I'm not really experienced in this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm experienced. You know, I don't want to come in here and look stupid. Too late.
Yeah.
Should have gotten our watch.
Robert Clayton Dean was innocent.
Freeze there, times 10. We have reason to believe that Mr. Zavitz may have passed material.
What kind of material?
He was unsuspecting. He was unaware.
You are the only woman in the world for me.
Maybe this was not
You
the
and
one
Janet
that
Jackson.
Coming your way over.
Now, what he doesn't know
I'd like to report a break-in.
What am I
could kill him.
Request immediate keyhole visual tasking, maximum resolution.
Here's on your 6 o'clock. You have something they want.
Yo,
I don't have anything. Maybe you do and you don't know it.
You're a threat now. Tell him. Everyone you know. Target's on the move.
A name, a phone number? No, nothing. He didn't give me anything.
I'll have to watch that again. It's been so long. Here I was thinking, I'm like, did I make a mistake? I thought it was Enemy to Save that Gene Hackman was in. But yeah, Noel says maps are a good idea. Yeah, it's just a good idea to have maps. I just stick them away like in my Jeep. I've got like in the back of the Jeep, they have like the spare wheel well, and you can actually stick a lot of stuff there. I stick a lot of stuff there. So I pack it in. So there's a lot of stuff, but it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't even think about it. So only if there's an emergency, I know I have it in my vehicle. I've only ever actually used it once, and I was somewhere, like at a store or something, and there was a kid who was on a bike, and he fell down pretty bad, and he scraped his knee really bad. And I was like, shit, there's no one else around to help him. And I knew that I had an adventure medical kit in my wheel well, and that's what I got. So and those are kind of nice. I mean, it's like you just have band-aids and gauze and shit, but adventure. They make different sizes, and I usually ultralight. Oftentimes, like I'll carry like the ultralights. These are pretty nice. You can get different sizes. Just to throw this in here, and this is like tape, gauze, band-aids, shit like that. But I actually used it. Once I used it, so I feel like it was worth it because it's like I helped the kid. I got him squared away, so that was good. Brain Mosley says horses are a good idea, I guess, if you have the space for them, and yeah, you can use them for travel, obviously. So they'd probably be a pretty big target, though, if we ever had an EMP and people were looking for ways to travel. Like, if you got a horse, you are a target, probably. Just like, when people are desperate, they say that, when shit hits the fan, power goes out or something, you got about 72 hours before everything goes downhill. So if you're ever in a situation, you didn't already know this, like, you need to if you're in a metro area and we get hit with if everybody's vehicle stops and your cell phones don't work and your laptop and TV are dead, it means we get hit with an EMP. You need to get your ass out of Dodge. Like, to stay in a metro area. We never do. But here's the deal. We are living in an age where we are on the electrical grid, and we are living in the age of AI, when AI agents can be used and deployed by people who have very bad intentions for us, and AI can be used to attack our infrastructure. That something could happen. We don't need to have an EMP to disable us and bring us to the ground. I believe there's a pretty good chance, I would think, that in our lifetimes, at some point, we will see a major attack on our electrical grid. I just think we will, because everything requires electricity. Everything. Like, if we don't have that, we are in big trouble. And so it doesn't need to be an EMP or something. But, like, countries like North Korea or Iran would probably be happy to launch an EMP if they have the technology and take out essentially our entire electrical grid. You know how screwed we are if that happens? In order to rebuild our infrastructure, we need to like have new transformers. Guess who makes where all the transformers are made? Not here. They're all made in China now. And a lot of the transformers, I was listening to some guy who worked in the industry a couple of years ago, like the windings are very complex and different on different transformers, and we just don't make them here anymore. This is a danger. Hey, Tab. Hey, Tab. Wow. Tab, did you join this channel back in COVID? Because I feel like you did. You might have. I feel like I recognize your name from way back then. And Mead says 3 days to animal. Exactly. You got 72 hours before. Yeah, Tab. Yeah, that's what I thought, Tab. Well, welcome back. So yeah, it was 5 years ago when I was talking about when COVID stuff was happening. Astromom says LTCN not his purpose anymore. Hey, I got LTCN and Grayscale. They're not doing anything yet. I'm just getting bored. I can't talk about a whole lot. Like I've said everything I need to say about Grayscale, I feel like. So I'm just kind of biding time. And I'm like, this stuff is kind of important, I feel, to talk about the stuff that's going on in the world. So I'll just talk about it. But so I'm not only going to talk about Grayscale. Because I don't know, it is where it is right now. Let's take a look at it since we brought it up. Grayscale, LTCN. Let's see where we are. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still there. We're waiting, even for if we get a return to last cycle's levels. I mean, it would be nice. We're just, seeing this mountain right here, it just fuels your hopes and dreams. And we all got excited back here, right? March and April of last year. And then the crypto gods just like stabbed us in the heart. And this is where we're sitting. It will come around. I don't know when. Just the other day in a video, I said, we're at like a 4.5 year mark. And some people still say we're on a 4-year cycle. I don't think so. I think we're probably going to be closer to a 5-year cycle. So by the time this stuff gets going, it could be late summer or, maybe fall before it takes off. Just a hell of a long time. The good thing is for a lot of people that have been watching me, though, a lot of their shares are probably going to be subject to long-term capital gains tax, which is, a lot more beneficial. Pay lower taxes. So that's good. Yeah, and Mead said, 3 days to basically until everybody becomes an animal. So it's like that. It's true. That's what the studies have shown. So,
but I don't know if that's the case. We'll have to see. They said alarm sounded in southern Israel.
So I forget this guy's name. He does a really good job covering a lot of stuff. I watched his channel actually quite a bit when COVID was first coming out, because he would cover a lot of the news, breaking news stuff related to COVID. He'd cover like the World Health Organization, live streams, meetings, whatever. He did a really good job. I don't remember his name right now, but Lookner is his last name. I don't remember his first name. So. But he covers it. There are a ton of people doing 3 days. Let's just outlook 3 days to 3 days to die, 3 days to make the potato salad, 3 days to kill, 3 days to before chaos. Let's just see if there's anything. If anybody's done a video. Yeah, so this is probably 3 days without law, or yeah. Yeah, but you got 72 hours. That's what the studies have shown. In some places you may have less than that. But you see, like when there's when we have like stuff like hurricanes, tornadoes, power outages, stuff like that, that there are always people who try to be opportunistic, right? And they will loot and they will steal in pretty short order. So if power remains out, if an area is in a bad spot for more than 24 hours, usually that the second day you see even more stuff. And by the third day, it's bad because like if people, a lot of people don't have a whole lot of food like on like at home. And the grocery stores, I think on average, I mean, I'm sure it varies, but we don't have warehouses anymore, so everything's purchased basically just using just in time. So if they run out of something or they're running short on something, they just order more and it gets delivered right to them. But they only have like 2 days worth of food for everybody at the grocery stores. So when like in Minnesota and Wisconsin, when we are in the wintertime and we've got a snowstorm coming, well, everybody's trying to do grocery shopping and get bread and eggs and whatever else before the snowstorm comes. You know, this is kind of built into us in the Midwest that that's what we should do. Not that you're going to starve or anything, but you kind of want that because you never know what's going to happen. But, you know, if something did happen, like chaos, like it would be bad. You guys remember like the COVID, like the toilet paper shortages, right? like that was a big thing. That was a big thing. And I mean, COVID toilet paper. Let me just see if we have any. This is like part of our history. Like what part of our history, you know, has been preserved. So it's kind of fun to watch this stuff. Like, look at these people fighting over toilet paper. You know, and this is like, you know, there were people like trying to buy pallets of bottled water from like Costco. And you don't want to be trying to get the stuff that you feel like you and your family need when the crisis is in effect, right? You want to have what you need before, ideally, you know? There's especially like if the electrical grid goes down for a while, you should have some cash on hand. There are a lot of people I know, like especially younger people, who do not actually carry cash. Like they just rely on their credit cards and debit cards, and they don't carry cash. I will never be caught dead without cash, ever. I forgot my wallet once when I was in my 20s. I forgot my wallet once. I was driving and I needed gas, and I didn't have any money, really. My dad was wise and had told me to always keep some cash in my vehicle. But like a dumb 20-something, the money that I did put in my vehicle, I used most of it, but I had like 20 bucks left. I still had 20 bucks left in my vehicle. I got enough gas to get home and enough to get something to eat. And ever since that point, I have always kept cash in my vehicle, right? And, you know, I'll keep some cash in the console and then someplace else where it's not so easy to find. Because I know if somebody's going to break into my vehicle, they're going to look in the console to find something. And if they find something, they're probably going to be satisfied and leave. But always have that. And I always have cash in my wallet. Because I'm like, if I don't want to be in a situation where my card gets declined for whatever reason, B, some system is down, right? And if they can't accept electronic payments, I want to be able to pay for gas or food or whatever is necessary in cash. But yeah, a lot of people don't think about that stuff. A lot of people, if we ever do have big problems, a lot of people are going to be absolutely screwed. And the problem is, when people get screwed, they get very scared. And a lot of times they express that in getting very angry and violent. And especially in today's environment, where you have a lot of people that do not like half the population, it could get quite crazy, okay? Depending on where you are. So you just never know. You never know. The blue hair crazy people could come after you with baseball bats if you don't give them your toilet paper or your cash or whatever. It could be bad. That's why I don't want to be in the cities when shit goes down. Astro Mom says, "Oh well, just buy crypto. See ya." Yeah, crypto's good. Crypto, I like crypto. See you later, Astro Mom. Astro Mom. So yeah, Crypto's good. One of the things I actually like about native crypto, well, we're talking about this, is it's like a backup plan for me, for the financial system having some problems. Like I don't trust the U.S. banking system or the U.S. dollar, for that matter, a whole lot. We have to use it. It's the only system we have in place. It's been there my whole life, and I hope it still is the rest of my life too. But just in case something goes wrong, like I always plan to keep a portion of my wealth in native crypto because it's something different. It's something outside of the normal system. It's kind of akin to like, people like when they buy real estate. Like baseball cards or collect your comic books or Pokemon cards or something, right? That they're buying something physical that has value, or maybe it's precious metal that they buy. It's something physical that has perceived value, intrinsic value that is just separate from the fiat currency system that we have, and there's value in that, right? Okay, so yeah. So anyway, what is going on with the protests here? Let me just. I don't know if this has been. Let's reload this. All right, it's 9:45 Central, which means it is 7:45, 7:45 on the West Coast. So I see Portland. We got Nebraska, Omaha, Los Angeles, a lot of things in LA, Oceanside. Tomorrow's gonna be absolutely crazy. I imagine there will be hundreds of YouTube streams and Facebook streams out covering the protests. It's gonna be nuts. Noel says my dad told me that as well, so I always carry some cash. Yep, it's just a smart thing to do. Noel says I have a wallet, but I haven't used it. Seems complicated to me. I guess I need to practice. So I'm thinking, Noel, you're talking about a crypto wallet, right? Probably a crypto wallet. So they're pretty easy. Some of the easiest ones to start up, like for anybody that's not, like you don't have any native crypto. I like Exodus Wallet and Trust Wallet. You can get Exodus Wallet for your phone and for your Mac or Windows laptop or desktop. Trust Wallet works on iOS. I think they have an Android version. It does not work on Windows. It's not a Windows or Mac thing. Exodus does. Atomic is also decent. There are some things that piss me off both about Atomic and Exodus, though. So if I were to pick my favorite, it's probably Trust Wallet. Exodus Wallet, what you can do, like if you buy crypto, like from Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or Binance or wherever, and you've got some sitting there, it's probably not a good idea to keep all your crypto on an exchange. So you want to learn how to transfer a little bit to your own private wallet, right? And don't transfer your whole amount, at least not on the first transaction. Transfer like $1's worth of crypto, whatever it might be, whether it's Litecoin or Ethereum or whatever, to the wallet to make sure the transfer works okay, that you didn't screw up the address. Because once you transfer something to crypto, it's a once and done thing. Like you can't reverse it. There's no way to reverse it. So you want to make sure that you're sending it to the right place. And then you just over time you just get comfortable with having the wallet. And I don't just have one wallet. I think the more crypto you have, you should split your crypto up between multiple wallets. And people use hardware wallets too, like a Ledger or Trezor. So that's an option too. But the easiest are what are referred to as the soft wallets. So those are like I think they're also called hot wallets. But it's essentially just the software, just the app, like Exodus, Trust, or Atomic. They're good ones. I have run into issues that have pissed me off with some of the lesser known crypto wallets, by the way, that you can get for your phone or desktop. I have put a little bit of crypto into them like last cycle. And in the course of 5 years, they've upgraded, quote unquote, the crypto wallet. And when it upgrades, I lose my portfolio. And there's not an easy way to like that I can figure out to recover what I had. Thankfully, I didn't have much in there, but I don't like when they do that. Atomic Wallet is kind of pissing me off because I've got some crypto called Nano, XNO is a ticker, and they are having problems, quote unquote, sending it. So I can't send it off anywhere. I don't want it there. But it's locked up there essentially. And I've had issues with Exodus too on different things. So it is what it is. Right. I think I'm going to end this here. It's almost 10 o'clock Central. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and you know, to see some names that I haven't seen in a while, like Tab. That's crazy. I don't think I've seen you comment on other videos since probably COVID times. You know, but it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And Sun Scorpion, thanks for joining too. Like you're one of the OGs that came on board the channel back in 2020. That was a big deal for the whole world, you know, and a lot of people tuned into what I had to say and to what others had to say, like Andy on Andology and a lot of other channels. We saw and I'll just say a few things about this, then I'll end. But we saw, if you were following people, we saw a lot of people on YouTube get deplatformed. I had some of the videos that I put out taken down. I got channel strikes. I couldn't post videos for a while. I set up a secondary channel because I thought that this channel that I was on, where I was producing most videos, was at risk of being deleted, because some of the stuff I was saying was kind of hot button stuff. And so I saw a bunch of people that I was following, they got deplatformed. They got kicked off of YouTube, right? Some of you might, if you're watching me, like I've probably talked about some of these people, like Sending Ravens was the channel. Yeah, what was her name? I think she's still around, like on BitChute or something, but honestly, I don't go there very often. And then we saw the Dollar Vigilante, Jeff Berwick. He got booted from YouTube, right? And David Icke was doing videos about COVID, the pandemic, and all that shit. And his videos about him, by him, were getting, struck down. YouTube took him down. So it was just like this time of like a lot of shit happened. A couple of I say a couple because it's like my first Twitter account that I had for a long time they banned that. I don't have access to that because I said some things that they didn't like, anti-Biden stuff. And then I set up another one, and that one got banned too. I've got another one. I just don't say much of anything on there, because I want to be able to lurk and see what other people are saying. But it's one of those things, like if you do speak up, if you do talk about stuff that the establishment doesn't like or somebody doesn't like, you have problems. Like I did on the backup channel, I was going to reboot it and talk about health stuff and some of the stuff that I do and that I'm into. I did a video on vitamin B6 and how it has been said that it could be used in regards to cancer. And YouTube took that down. I got a major strike. I had to go through YouTube reorientation on that. You can't talk about it. It's weird that you can put out videos and people put out videos and a bunch of shit, and you can't talk about that. And when I look at stuff like that, I go, why can't you talk about it? Like, why can't you talk about it? It seems to me like sometimes when they strike people's voices down, like that's kind of where the truth is, and that's kind of where you got to look. All right, I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This live stream was obviously not really about financial investing at all, although I did mention it if you were watching. Like, being prepared, having some stuff for yourself and your family in the event of things going wrong is smart. It's an investment. right, in your future. You want to think about that, whether that's a place out in the country or something, extra stuff that you have. I think it's a good idea. I don't trust the system. We have a very complex system that works very well when you think about all of our technology, right? But it's very susceptible, and we are in an age of just a lot of things that could change our world very quickly. AI is one of them. AI will help us, I think, in a lot of ways, but AI can be used by the bad actors to attack us, right? Yeah, Tab says still praying for humanity. Yeah, me too. I mean, one of the things I don't talk about on this channel, because this isn't like a meditation or spirituality channel, but I do too. And I try to picture a better future, and one that is nothing like what we have, one that's just like a panacea. But I feel like I'm gonna have to die and go to a different realm, multiverse, something to see that, because I just feel like it doesn't happen here. Noel says high dose of vitamin C as well helps with cancer, and pharmaceutical doesn't want you to know. It's yeah, I agree. Like, I've been watching stuff, just talking about this actually. So, and you'll find some videos on this too. Like, so when people are told by a doctor that they have cancer, that they have a tumor, right? They go in and they usually get a biopsy. And what they do during the biopsy is they'll take a needle and they'll pierce the tumor. Well, a lot of times what some people are saying in the medical field, in the alternative medical field, are a lot of times those tumors, that's your body's way of basically containing the problem, right? Your body is building, cancer is trying to save your life. It's building tumors to store whatever the hell is going wrong, keep it contained. And then the doctors will pierce that tumor and release some of the toxins and shit that's in there. And then lo and behold, a couple of weeks or months later, they'll tell you that the cancer spread. In a lot of cases, some of the cases, I don't know how many cases, like there's a big conjecture. A lot of cancer in the US, the parasites don't exist here, that it doesn't affect Americans. I think it's such bullshit, and I'll tell you why I know it's bullshit, because I try to do a parasite cleanse about every 6 months. Sometimes I forget, like it's been a year. I'm on one right now. I'm gonna do a 2-month cleanse. And the stuff that comes out of you is not normal. If you ever go on one of these cleanses, you will know that your body's been holding stuff that probably isn't that good for you. Okay? And I mean, I've gotten just like this, I'm going to share a lot of information here. I've gotten out, for example, one thing I've gotten out in the past is liver flukes, right? That shit's not good for you, not good for your liver. As a pet owner, basically it's been said that 100% of pet owners have parasites. No shit. Our dogs, cats, they get stuff, they pass them on to us, right? And just like dogs get heartworm, they can pass that on to us. It can infect our stuff, our health, which is why I'm trying. I try to remember. Sometimes I forget. I try to do a cleanse like every 6 months or so, and just kind of reset my state. Noel says chemo is big money. You're right. It's what they say. Like, there's no money in healthy people. It's not health care, really. It's like sick care. They never want to. For most things, they don't really want to cure you. Like, they don't have something that can cure you. They don't have a pill that you can take once or for a week and then you're done. They always want to put you on a SaaS, software as a service subscription, right? They don't prescribe you a pill that you take every day forever. That doesn't fix you. That just keeps you in this this state of whatever. Noel says, what are you using for cleanse? I'll show you what I'm using. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get the box and I'm going to go to the website. Let me get the box real quick. All right. All right. So I'm gonna hold this up. I'm gonna make myself big because, like, of course you want to see me. Of course you want to see me. So this, it's called Parasmart. And I'll take you to the website real quick. That's enough of me. Now you probably don't want to see me that much. All right. Okay. So let's just go. So one of the things I like about Parasmart, I've been using this, by the way, I've been doing a cleanse with this. Man, it's been over a decade, and it's been, yeah, it's been very effective. So this stuff right here, you can get it, like, you can buy it direct. You used to be able to buy it from Amazon, but they stopped offering it. They offer other products by Renew Light, but I haven't found this on Amazon. But this is what I'm using, right? And so they say it's a 15-day program. I would say that is the bare minimum. So I'm gonna get, like, we're gonna just talk about parasites here for a little bit. So first of all, what is in this thing? I'm just gonna. So it's all natural shit, right? And so one of the people actually that I first heard about this. I heard about this when I was like 20. My mom found out about this. Was a woman, a doctor by the name of Hulda Clark. So Hulda Clark did a lot of research on parasites and cancers. She's written a book, so a couple books. This one is The Cure for All Diseases. She's also written like The Cure for All Cancers, The Cure for Advanced Cancer. So she, in her tests, she was able to cure some, I think what I remember, like 100 cancer patients were cured by three things. One was black walnut hull, right? The other was sweet wormwood, and the third was red clover. Okay? So those things. And I don't know if you've ever heard about Joe Tippins. So Joe Tippins Tippin protocol. He's got a website too. Joe Tippin. I don't know where his website is right now, but so basically, what he did, he took Panicure. Come on, what is going on? Why can I not see this? What is going on? It's like can't be reached. Am I having Wi-Fi problems? Probably. Okay, well, whatever. We're just gonna go to All Hail Google. Panicure C. And I've actually stocked some of this stuff. This is meant to be a dog dewormer, canine dewormer. It's got a medicine in here called fembenzidol. It's very effective against parasites. Joe Tippins actually took this exact brand twice a day, I believe, along with cannabis oil and maybe one other thing. And he was able to get rid of his cancer. So, and other people have said this too. And one of the, so Noel says you're a tech guy. Yeah, I'm a tech guy that has an interest in a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of people don't. Like so I've got a stockpile of this. All right, a Panicure C. I keep it in case I ever have something come up or I find out that somebody else does, right? And I want to be able to get it to them very quickly. All right, also, horse. All right, so you can get this from Amazon, actually. The Dervet or Dervet. This, holy shit, this is like, you guys remember during COVID. Oh my God. Like if anybody said that ivermectin could help with anything, they were like fucking banned. Okay? And I've actually taken this because like I kind of tradition. I'm like I'm just gonna try it, even though I don't have a problem right now. Like, what does this taste like? Is it gonna have side effects? Am I gonna go to the ER? What's gonna happen? Um, so I've taken ivermectin just when I'm feeling okay. And it's like, okay, well, that was okay. Tastes like sour apple, not, not that good. So I keep some of this, right? And this is said, some people have used it to help with cancer. It's also an anti-parasitic, right? So fenbendazole and ivermectin are very good. Also, I heard the other day, and I saved this actually on for myself. I saved interesting. Let me see if I can find this. I should show this to you guys. This is I saved it. I saved it for myself. Where did I put it? There was a doctor. He was not from the US. He was saying that a lot of cancers, not all cancers, right, but a lot of cancers are caused by parasites, and then he called it venom, right, which can mean a lot of different things. But he was like, hey, look, he brought up the black walnut hull and stuff like that too. And I'm just see if I can find the. Okay, the majority of cancers are okay. Let's go to the YouTube God here for this. Let me just show you this. Let's see if I can find this. The majority of cancers are actually parasite infections. This dude. Hold on. Let me get some audio here. This is not very. Sorry. Pause. Senor, we're gonna get that up. Let's see what he has to say. So this is like interesting. I like this kind of stuff because I'm like, I don't trust the doctors,
Cysts, etc. So if you have uterine, the majority of cancers are actually parasite infections, misdiagnosed as cancerous tumors, masses, cysts, etc. So if you have uterine fibroids, ovarian cysts, if you have thyroid goiters, if you have liver masses, lung lesions, or masses, and you've been told that they're cancerous, or you have breast nodules, 80% of the time there's a parasite egg sac. Not cancer or anything, but in America, they get zero education in parasitology, and they're told that parasites don't exist in America. However, the CDC says it's very common to get parasites in America. It's very odd that medical schools don't teach that, and that's the truth. Parasites are the leading cause of cancer in America. And there's another cause, the second cause. They've known since 1956 that is venom, snake venom. It causes cancer. Turbo cancer is what they called. And then these two scientists who figured it out were paid by the American Cancer Association to figure it out, and were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for figuring out how to make cancer very quickly with venom. So you have parasites or you have venom. By the way, the venom-based cancers are dissolved with nicotine, even brain tumors, and that's why nicotine is the other N word.
Okay, this is like, so smokers have been absolutely ostracized by society. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if you guys remember. So back when COVID was all the rage, they did make a statement, and this was announced in the news, even the mainstream news for a while, that actually smokers had less of an issue with COVID. And that was, it was something because of the way nicotine, I believe, was protecting their lungs, which is so bizarre because like they always say it's going to cause you cancer. So from my standpoint, I don't trust stuff. So Tab and Noel. So you guys are kind of like-minded with me, I think. And I mean, this channel, I kind of made a pivot where it's mostly about investing, right? But I want to talk about other stuff too, like this kind of stuff, because this this is interesting to me. It's out of the box. Not a whole lot of people talk about it. It's hard to find informational out of it on it. So I could do this on my other channel that I actually set up as a backup to this channel. So I might start doing that. So I'm going to just go over to that channel if I can find it on YouTube. And I had posted 2 videos there quite a while back. What is it called? What is it called? I renamed the channel. I have to look this up quick to see what this is, because I might just do videos there and keep it separate from here. It might be kind of fun. I renamed it to Adventures. It used to be called like Sending Lions with Ethan or something. Adventures of Ethan. Let's see if it comes up. It's a very small channel. I don't know if it's gonna Ethan. No. There we go. Adventures of Ethan. So there we go. So here I was gonna talk about health stuff. That was 10 months ago. And I did a couple of videos there, just 2 of them. The third video, like I said, on B6 apricot seeds, it got mega banned. I had to go to YouTube re-education camp for that. Who else says my girlfriend would be interested? She had cancer and beat it. She is amazing. That's awesome. I'm glad she did. But yeah, so it's like, by the way, in this channel, I actually set up
All right, welcome back.
Okay, that's super loud. Sorry about that. I set up a Discord channel that you can join, okay? If you have Discord, you can get into this channel, and this is where I and a couple other people have we have posted stuff. I don't think I have an. Oh, I do have an account here. Here we go. I am in here. So the Discord is called. So I wanted to show you this stuff. Like there's information on parasites and disease, cleanses, alternative treatments to cancer, baking soda, vitamin D3, other vitamins, benzidol, Panacure, ivermectin, or B17. It's not B7, not B6. It's B17. Apricot kernel, stuff like there. Ketogenic diet, fasting, fish antibiotics, which actually I stock as well. Noel says I'm on your Discord. Cool. So Tab, if you're not, you might want to join. We don't really have. There's not a whole lot of active content there because obviously I don't really promote it that much. But I just wanted to put stuff there as I found it, as almost a way of bookmarking this stuff in case I or anybody, if I ever knew them, they needed shit. And I was like, where did I see this video or read this article about this alternative stuff on health? So I think I might do some videos on that other channel, Adventures of Ethan. And we'll see. That way I'll keep this. Yeah, I'm in my Jeep there. Look at that. Looks like a dude in a Jeep. So this channel, I think I can do a live stream here. I'm not positive. Look at how young I look. That was a year ago. I've aged since then. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, I thought this is interesting, and you can actually a tumor with parasites. This is kind of disgusting. We're doing this on a Friday night. Let's see if I can find this. I saw this. I think I might have seen it on Facebook. They actually, what the doctor was doing this says, hey, I want to show you what's inside this tumor. And he opened it up, and he's like, look, there are little parasites all over. So it's like the body produced a tumor to keep the parasites in there. So, yeah. Tab. I watched a documentary about a nursing home that hired a new nutritionist, cut out processed foods. Yeah, healed and no longer need nursing home care, even Alzheimer's. Yeah, there's a lot of that shit, Tab. It's like if you change your diet, right, and you just do the right things, you can avoid a lot of things that people end up, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, a whole bunch of that shit. It's unfortunate that I feel like alternative information is not easily accessible out there. Yeah, Crypto King says, should we stack up an LTCN now? Yeah, I mean, we're at a good price point for LTCN and crypto in general because we're not in the run yet. But let's hope we do good. Tab says, yeah, I'm doing an intermittent fasting too. That's supposed to be very good. I like food, so I don't fast very often. I think at most I did switch for a while. I was doing like OMAD, the 1 meal a day type thing, pretty well. And sometimes it wasn't just 1 meal a day, but I tried to eat anything and everything within like a 3 or 4 hour time frame. I think your body actually, I think it starts going into autophagy. I think it's after like 12 hours or something. Might be a little off on that, but that's when your body starts to do it. You start to kick into ketosis, I think. It gets better the longer you do it. But yeah, attempts to have a 4 hour window to eat. Yeah. So that's supposed to be really good for you. And it's like if I were to get cancer, diagnosed with cancer or something really terrible, right? Whatever it is, Parkinson's or something, I would go into absolute fucking hyperdrive with everything I'm doing. I would still smoke cigarettes because that is my way of dealing with life, okay? That's my vice. I don't really drink alcohol at all. But that's like my vice, okay? But I would go on to immediately go on to like the OMAD thing, the 1 meal a day, or at least a small window. I would make sure I was eating zero processed foods. Probably go on a close to a carnivore diet, just based on what I've read, right? And I would go through a parasite cleanse. I would use hydrogen peroxide to do hydrogen therapy or oxygen therapy. And I do other stuff too. So I just like sound healing, frequency healing is freaking amazing. As well, I've ordered a number of CDs with healing sounds. Right, you can find these too, like just if you're on like iTunes, they're there, right? But I wanted the actual CDs, and I just ordered some really big Tibetan singing bowls that are big enough for you to stand in. They're like 21-inch bowls. You stand in them, put your feet in there, you hit the gong, and the resonance, it just like goes through your whole body. And so I've got an order for one. I don't know when it's gonna run. Should be hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, but maybe I'll do a video on that on the other channel. Because I figure I'm like, if you're gonna feel it, like it's one thing to hear it, right? Like if you got headphones on, right, your AirPods in or whatever, I think it's good for you. They've shown that Beethoven's Symphony Number 5 or something actually helps cure cancer. Like it's shown like Beethoven. What was it? How do you spell Beethoven? P-H-T-O. Beethoven. Thank you, Google gods. Beethoven, Fifth Symphony. Has shown to cure 5 to 10% of cancer. Just by listening to, think about that. Just by listening to that it will kill 5 to 10%. Okay, just by that thing. So if that will kill 5 to 10%, what else will it do? By the way, Hulda Clark, the woman that I talked about, the doctor who did information or research on parasites. She's got books. She sells supplements. She sold and promoted like what she called her zapper, and this basically sent frequencies through your body, which, we're supposed to, basically nuke those bad boys in your body. Before I end this, I said, this is interesting stuff when I started talking about this, at least for me. So this Parasmart is a 15-day cleanse. I do not do it for 15 days. I did like when I got started, but I do it for 2 months, basically, because the problem with parasites is when I take that stuff now during a cleanse, it's going to kill the adults that are swimming around or hanging out, right? It's going to kill hopefully most of them. They're going to exit my body. Here's the problem. Parasites lay eggs, and their eggs like dormant for a while. I think they either hatch, it's either with the new moon or the full moon. I can't remember. They're on the moon cycle, okay? You can look this up. So you have to like kill all the adults, and then you got to keep the treatment going because you want to kill all the babies. It's disgusting when you think about it, but if that's what's going on in your body, I mean, I know for a fact that I'm getting stuff out, okay? If you've ever done these things, you know that you get stuff out, and you get different stuff out depending on when you do it and what you've been going through in life, all that kind of stuff. But you got to get the babies, because if you don't, they're just gonna like reinfect you, next month. So you don't want that. You want to try to zap them as much as you can, and that's what it does. All right, I'm gonna end it here. It's 10:20 Central. I will see you guys maybe potentially tomorrow. I might do a live stream with some of the stuff that's going on. Tomorrow's gonna be a big day, just a follow up. Oh, Noel says, what is your other channel? So my other channel is Adventures of Ethan. And let me just see if I can, let me just share the latest video on.
All right, welcome back.
Guys,
Okay, well,
sorry about that. So this is this is a link to the latest video on the channel. So if you watch that, subscribe to that channel, and I'll put something out there. I might even try to do a live stream. I don't know if I can do a live stream from StreamYard on that or not, but it would be fun to have a conversation just about different stuff and see where it goes, because there's a lot to talk about actually in that whole arena. There's a lot of stuff going on. Thanks, Tab. So like, if you haven't, like, for those of you that were around during COVID times, like, there was a lot of conjecture that the stuff in the vaccines was very bad. Like, there were, and this is all thrown into the conspiracy, right, circle, and you were called a conspiracy theorist if you even brought the stuff up. But there was early evidence that the vaccines had essentially graphene in them, which would self-assemble. And anybody who brought that up was basically thought to be a kook, right? Well, I've seen videos now where doctors, people who have access to the COVID stuff, yeah, Tab says, don't lose your crypto subs here. I don't want to lose them. I don't want to alienate them too much, but this will be, they're probably not watching this video anyway. But that's why it's better to have just a separate channel to talk about that. I had more people die with vaccines versus not. Yeah, and now there's like the talk of like turbo cancers. There's a guy I was following a couple months ago, guy out of Europe, cancers, and so this guy, Dr. John Campbell, has really done a good job. He was out during COVID actually, and he was kind of pro the COVID jab for a long time until the past couple years, right? And he started, because he looked at the evidence, and now he's kind of done a 180. Okay, here, this guy. Channel name's Emergonomics. So this guy's done actually work on, he's like an immunologist or something.
turbo cancers exist?
He's done a ton of talks about turbo cancers and their relation to the COVID vaccines. And so Tab says, I think he only got one jab, then no booster. So that's good. I was actually watching a video today or yesterday where they said these nefarious fuckers. So apparently, I didn't know any of this. Like, I'm not a biology major, right? So I have to learn from other people, right? Like most people. So apparently the first shot that people got, it would dramatically reduce their white blood cell count, which is what your body needs to be able to recover, right? Okay. So then it takes 8 weeks. So guess what? Magically, that's when they told people they had to come back for their booster. the second shot, 8 weeks later. Okay. So as soon as the white blood cells start to recover, they want the second. And in the second one, they apparently bumped up the stuff that's not so great in there. Excuse me. But yeah, it's just not good. I feel bad for the people that took this stuff. And I'm hoping to God it doesn't negatively affect a ton of people. But you and I know when we see like young people, like in their 20s or even 30s, having heart attacks and shit and dying suddenly. That's not normal. That was never normal. That was so abnormal. It just didn't happen. And now it does. And it's sad. So, yeah. Yeah, the jab damaged your T cells. Yeah, and I know all says they made us get it or get fired. Yeah, a lot of places did. And myocarditis, a whole bunch of stuff, And you guys have probably seen a lot of videos. I won't talk about it more, but I've seen stuff. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't get it. And I'm very, very angry at, I don't even know, like the establishment, like the people that there were so many people involved in pushing the vaccines. I just remember initially not trusting them out of the gate because typically vaccines take a couple years to develop, and this was magically rushed, right? And we had politicians, the media, celebrities, fucking everybody to your next door neighbor pushing these things and vilifying anyone and everyone who did not want them, who was like, I don't trust this shit, but it was like the huge, I mean, you guys probably remember, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people got kicked off of YouTube or got at least certain videos nuked, because if you talked about this stuff, the establishment didn't want it. If you said anything that was out of line with what the WHO was saying, or the state of New York or California or whatever, it was over. It was also back then, YouTube got an upgrade. Like if you notice now on videos, you can give a video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. 5 years ago, you could see the number of thumbs down that a video got, right? Not anymore. You know why? Do you remember? This will be good. It's because when the White House put out videos, live streams or just regular old videos, they got so many downvotes, it looked so freaking bad. And I think that's why YouTube did it. They just took out the counts. They didn't want to do that. Tab says she was injured by a vaccine years ago. Yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like I felt bad. Like my son had to get like certain vaccines to get into the school system, and I'm like, I hope they haven't fucked with the basic, measles, mumps, rubella type shit. I hope they haven't done that. But at some point, we're not going to be. This is the woo-woo conspiracy theory shit. We're not going to even need a jab because they're gonna put it everywhere. They'll put it on clothing, in food. It'll be everywhere. You won't have any choice. It'll be delivered to you. That's probably what's going to happen. Anyway, this is the end. I'm going to sign off for tonight. I'll do some videos on that other channel. So Adventures of Ethan, if you want to watch that stuff. And I'll try to not keep it here. But since we're talking about a lot of stuff, not investing stuff, we're talking about protests, Iran, Israel, COVID, alternative health stuff, kind of fun. It's a Friday night. Hope you guys are doing well. You guys take care. Thanks, Tab. Thanks, Noel. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. You guys take care. I'll see you guys soon.